With the blossoming of Bitcoin's market cap, and of course, by extension, the entire cryptocurrency market caps, I believe that this particular sector will grow more and more necessary over time. Today, we're going to be talking about crypto insurance. Now, you guys know very well how bullish I am about the bridges that are wrapping Bitcoin for use in DeFi or different blockchain ecosystems off the main chain of Bitcoin. I'm bullish on these because the more money in Bitcoin, the more that money will want to seek yield and essentially earn passive income. That's what all smart investors are looking for, and you better believe those huge whale bag holders in the Bitcoin ecosystem are thinking the exact same thing. But the reality is that DeFi comes with a slew of added risks, and the bigger the investor, the more they want protection against those risks. And that's why today we're going to be talking about a segment of the altcoin market focused on insurance. And as Bitcoin grows in value, so does my bullishness on the need for such insurance, because people will want to know that as they deploy that Bitcoin into other ecosystems, they are not completely at risk for smart contract failure, hacks, and other things that have become commonplace in the DeFi ecosystem. If you guys are excited to hear about the most promising projects in the insurance space of the altcoin market, as well as the ultra low cap opportunities in this sector, then go ahead and destroy that like button. And remember, as usual, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S, but you have to be subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you can't win. With that said, let's dive in. So first of all, let's talk about the big story, of course, which is Bitcoin's absolute path towards domination. And although we're just only 75% of the way back to our all-time high, the reality is in other jurisdictions against other currencies, Bitcoin is already making new highs. If you're in Russia right now, there is absolutely not a single time in history that Bitcoin has been stronger against the Russian ruble. So if you're measuring things in your local currency of the Russian ruble, well, guess what? Bitcoin is already at all-time highs. And these stories will continue to pour in. Remember, the US dollar is one of the strongest fiat currencies of all time. And for that reason, its strength against the US dollar in reaching new all-time highs, well, that'll be the last domino to fall, most likely. And so as Bitcoin grows in value, this story of a blossoming Bitcoin means that the opportunity to wrap that Bitcoin deployed in other ecosystems, literally the value of the already wrapped Bitcoin in those ecosystems grows by leaps and bounds. But as we're going to talk about today, the wrapping and deployment of that Bitcoin in other ecosystems comes with a slew of added risks. This isn't just your private key solution or a cold wallet solution. You aren't just hiding this thing away forever. You're actually having it actively held in smart contracts, which again come with their own risks, as even Vitalik has noted. So the reality is that as Bitcoin grows and blossoms in value, so does the temptation and reward for earning yields upon that Bitcoin by deploying it in DeFi. But we know that there have been a slew of high-profile DeFi smart contract hacks and exploits, spanning from even the most legit developers in the space like Andre Cronje's Eminence project, as well as we have the high-profile Harvest Finance hack, which some believe was planned and orchestrated, others believe was part of a series of hacks where essentially some of the hacked funds were returned as somewhat of a calling card from the hacker. Regardless of what exactly happened, we know that occasionally here we're seeing some serious high-profile exploits and hacks that lead to people losing their coins. And this can happen to that wrapped Bitcoin. This can happen to any funds. And so it's important to realize that the desire, especially for the bigger investors, the desire to protect your funds even as you deploy them to find higher and higher yields in DeFi is going to be tremendous. Okay, so you have a few $1,000s in DeFi. You probably aren't taking out an insurance plan, but imagine you had a few million. Imagine you had tens of millions or potentially in the billions. This is absolutely not outside of the realm of possibility. And in this world, the desire to take out an insurance plan and know that you can sleep well at night while your Bitcoin is out there earning yields for you is going to be tremendous. And that's why the insurance market here in crypto, I believe, is set to experience a huge renaissance over the coming months and years. This is a long-term play. So we're going to go through the main insurance projects in the space, ranked, of course, starting with the highest cap on down to the lowest cap. And while you know me, I'm always about the low cap gems and seeing low caps with the best upward trajectory, the reality is that with insurance, people want security security. So they very well might not choose those low cap projects to ensure their millions of dollars in crypto. In fact, I would see it as quite the opposite, that the bigger and more established projects would attract the most trust and would eventually end up consuming a significant market share. And that's why we're going to start here with Nexus Mutual. It says a people-powered alternative to insurance, get covered against smart contract failure. Essentially, they allow you to take out insurance. I mean, a lot of these projects are going to be very, very similar here. They're citing events like the DAO hack or the parity multi-sig wallet issues. Obviously, these were early security issues in the history of blockchain that led to hundreds of millions of dollars in losses. And they're saying that mutuals to replace insurance here, they're building an alternative risk-sharing platform. In the future, we plan to offer crypto wallet cover as well as more standard products like earthquake cover. They don't just want to offer insurance for just strictly crypto use cases, but they will want to offer them for traditional use cases as well. In my opinion, the real entry into the market is with these crypto use cases because other traditional insurance companies are not offering this. And that's why these new laws that were passed earlier this year by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, allowing for banks to hold cryptocurrency, allow for those funds to essentially now be insured in a realistic way. So the reality is that something like a Nexus Mutual is clearly the leader in the space. They currently hold about $140 million market cap, and they're about 73, just call it 75% down from their all-time high of $75, which means that they would have to do a 400% growth to get back to their all-time high. Nexus Mutual is without a doubt the most established project in the space. It's been existing the longest, and for that reason, it's, in my opinion, most likely that they will attract the vast majority of users because insurance is all about safety, security, and trust. So it's not about low caps and that stuff. However, the reality is that there's still a lot of money to be made, I think, in the low caps. But understand that, of course, with all low cap altcoins, there comes added risk. The next highest market cap coin here drops significantly. Remember, Nexus Mutual was here at about $140 million market cap, whereas Etherisc, which is the next highest market cap, is just 13 million. So it would have to 10x for it to catch up to Nexus Mutual. And of course, Etherisc is using a lot of the similar language here, essentially making insurance fair and accessible, decentralized insurance protocol to collectively build insurance products. They're talking about flight delay insurance, hurricane protection, crypto wallet insurance, collateral protection in crypto-backed loans, crop insurance, and social insurance. So they have a variety of products here that they're focusing on, and you'll see this, where essentially these different protocols will dabble with different types of insurance, but the reality is that they're all kind of going after a very similar type of product here, which is allowing for you to have some semblance of a backstop in case something happens here in crypto. I do believe that there is potentially a future here where they'll have these other use cases become popular. However, the reality is that I see that these, collateral for protection against crypto-backed loans, these types of loans are, for me, the most important, and the crypto wallet insurance, these are the most important because I think that these are the ones that are really the market desperately needs, and you can't get it other places. Whereas we have crop insurance, we have hurricane protection, we have flight delay insurance. I believe that they could still be somewhat successful, but the real disruption comes from adding those insurance products that are not widely available elsewhere. The next one is Safe2 or Cover Protocol. Cover Protocol is, much like the others, a peer-to-peer coverage market where essentially, they're market efficient, scalable, fungible coverage. A lot of them do this where you can essentially trade the tokens for your coverage like any token. It's fungible. So you have your policy, you have your coverage for a certain amount under certain conditions, and you can then trade that policy on the open market. It's very, very interesting stuff. And of course, it's based purely on funds, right? So it's not about who you are, it's about the amount of money you have, right? And so this goes very much so in line with how flash loans and DeFi work in general. It's about your collateral, not your identity, which I think is really interesting. And again, it shows you the borderless sort of non-discriminatory way that crypto operates, how open and borderless it is. There's not a group of people determining whether you're worthy of coverage or not. This is just a reality that these protocols allow for anyone to get covered, which is very powerful, especially for people who have been left out of that. Now, as we get down to these lower market cap ones, we have Nsure Network at just $1.6 million in market cap. And of course, you could see that there was this weird spike back here where it got up to 342. It's completely inorganic. I mean, obviously it's very low liquidity on this, but here you can see that if this network gets even remotely any traction, it's got a lot of room to run. Again, just a few days ago at the beginning of the month, it went down from about, 26 cents all the way up to about 67. It pulled, not quite a 3x here. But again, this segment is a very interesting one. And if insurance starts to get really hot, you know how sort of narratives start to get hot in crypto, I think some of these lower cap ones could definitely perform. The reality is that as the lower cap you go, the more risk there is. And of course, I looked up the team here. That's not an anonymous team here. The co-founder of Nsure, this guy, Kayang Jeff R, he's got a LinkedIn. He's got, people who are endorsing him, who seem like they went to school with him. From what I can tell, it seems like a real person. Again, I haven't met the guy, I haven't shaken his hand, so I can't tell you for sure, but it definitely seems to pass the sniff test here. Then you get something like a Foresight or a Fours, which has had a $436,000 market cap. It's up 100% on the day. And it started the other day at literally just a $250,000 market cap or something like that. This has an anonymous team. Again, I'm not buying into this because the Anon team, it's super risky, right? This could be completely illegitimate. But again, there's going to be more and more froth in the space, I think, as the desire to protect your crypto funds becomes so clear and evident, right? People are making all these gains in Bitcoin. The smart whales that are big financial players understand the value of making just a few percent returns on their multi-million-dollar stacks and the ability to protect those and know that they can sleep at night. Well, something like a Nexus Mutual, I think, might be the beneficiary of the most of that activity, but then it might trickle down the sort of market caps. And of course, if you just get a tiny drizzle of that market activity on something like an Nsure network or something like a Foresight, well, those will have absolutely crazy price movement. Again, these alts are extremely risky. I'm not saying to go buy them. I'm just trying to make you aware of the different opportunities that are around in the insurance space. And on CoinGecko, they have this new insurance tag where you can actually just go and see all of the insurance projects. I've covered them all for you here today. The reality is that this space is extremely nascent, but as cryptocurrency grows and as the insurance companies, the incumbents continually drag their feet as they don't understand this market, the ability to insure things in an open and trustless way and have fungible insurance through the use of NFTs. Obviously, it's funny to use NFTs for fungible insurance, but the reality is they'll sell you a token that represents a policy, and that token can be traded. This is completely different than normal insurance. You can't sell your insurance to someone else normally. So in that way, it's also an evolution of the way that we actually hold insurance as an asset. So to recap here, insurance, in my opinion, is going to be a demand that continually grows over the course of this DeFi life cycle. And if you've been following the channel, you know I believe that this first DeFi bull run that happened in August was just the tip of the iceberg, and that we're setting ourselves up for a significant mania phase in the coming 18 months. Now, during that mania phase, there will be so much new capital injected into the ecosystem. There will be so many new scams. Of course, that's what happens. There will be hacks, there will be exploits, there will be people hastily getting their products out and not taking the time to do proper audits because, well, the communities just want it now, and they don't care about the risks. But then when everything comes crumbling down, who will you call? And the smart investors will, of course, have taken out insurance policies. And so my belief is that over time, we will see more and more popularity in the insurance sector as DeFi grows. As DeFi grows, so will the need for more insurance products because the risks of DeFi are significantly elevated. And from that perspective, I think we have a lot of excitement. And I've presented to you all of the coins that are tagged with the insurance tag on CoinGecko, and I think you should keep your eyes on them. However, I'm not saying that any of them are necessarily a buy right now. However, I think this is a sector I just wanted to cover as it potentially could be a huge boon as DeFi grows. The reality is on the lower end of those lower caps, there's a lot less known about the projects. They've proven a lot less. And of course, some of them even have anonymous teams like Foresight. I really don't know if that project will hold. I'm just showing you that there is interest and excitement in that segment and that you should keep your eyes on this as something that will be growing in tandem with all of the most exciting new mechanisms that are taking flight within the DeFi ecosystem. The real big fish want insurance, and they're not going to get it from traditional players. They're going to have to get it from within the crypto ecosystem. For that reason, I think it's definitely something that should be on your watch list. Things like Nexus Mutual, Etherisc, Cover Protocol, Nsure, even Fours, though it is an anonymous team. And I certainly didn't buy any myself, but I think it's worth looking at. Those types of products will definitely be more in demand over time as DeFi grows. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you got some value out of it, if you learned about a new segment of our altcoin market, then go ahead and destroy that like button, literally obliterate it. Make sure that little thumb turns blue. It's a free and easy way to support the channel and to give some value back if you got some value out of this video. Of course, if you guys are not already subscribed, we're coming out with videos covering the most undervalued and exciting coins in the altcoin space. Remember, we covered Unilend just a few days ago, and it's now at almost 300% the value that we covered it at. We talked about Easy. That did almost a 7x. We've been covering some winners here on the channel, and if you want to be knowing about these undervalued alts before they go ballistic, then the best way to do that is to subscribe and make sure you have that bell notification on and set to all. You know, YouTube has been shadow banning crypto content left and right. I've noticed it on my own videos, but the people that are subscribed with the bell on always get the notification. So if you want to make sure that you get around this censorship, then you definitely want to be subscribed with the bell on. They don't want you to know, they don't want you to win, but I'm here working each and every day to try to provide the content, and I really appreciate you subscribing and putting that bell on. As usual, remember, each and every comment is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S, and of course, if you want to connect with me personally, feel free to follow me on Twitter at ElioTrades or join my Telegram group, t.me/ElioTradesCrypto. The links for both of those are in the description of this video, and of course, I thank you so much for watching. My name's Elio Trades, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.